All right. Well, we've been saying for a while, let's do this thing after a win. That was quite the one. That was as interesting of a game as you could ever imagine. But hats off to our team. Hats off to them. I mean, they came here. They were dealing with all sorts of COVID stuff. They had to make some changes, do some different things with their personnel. They came in here, battled the game, and then our guys. We had one injury after another up front. We're moving Josh McCauley to left tackle. Stefanski goes in at guard. Stefanski goes down. Then we got Leif Magnuson goes in. JT Hand goes in. Then Donovan goes down. I mean, it was just a straight rotation of our up front guys. Will Plummer was in and out of the locker room, training room 2 or 3 different times in this game. Kept coming back, kept battling. There were times I didn't think he was going to be able to play the rest of the game. And he was just so resilient and so tough. And he did not back down. I mean, he's going to be sore and tired tomorrow, though. I know that. We have to evaluate how we're going to practice this week. But, hats off to those guys. And then our defense. Our defense, cannot say enough about them. Don Brown, what he does with his defensive staff. Ricky Hunley, Chuck Cecil, Keith Dudzinski, Dwayne Walker, all the young guns that help them. I mean, those guys just work, and they deserve this one. And we gave the whole defense a game ball, gave Will Plummer a game ball, going to give Michael Wiley and Stanley Berryhill a game ball, and gave Tyler Loop a game ball. Field goal, thought that's what we need, then the extra point. So those were our game balls, and really just probably I'll get caught up and give it to all of them for the first win, but we'll see.
Michael, what were Will's injuries, and how did that affect what you were trying to do out there?
I don't want to get too much into his injuries at this point, but they were all on the throwing side of things. So we had to get his hand stitched up, and we had to deal with some other stuff for him.
Jedd, what prepares you to have to deal with the situations that you dealt with today out there from all the personnel things?
Well, I would say this. We have a tremendous coaching staff, and they didn't blink. Brendan Carroll did not blink. He said, okay, Jedd, hey, Jordan Morgan's down. All right, we got him. Donovan Lay was down. So then he was our backup left tackle. He's like, we got to move McCauley to left tackle. And he prepared him on Friday. We had a walkthrough, and he said, hey, let's just be ready here in case of an emergency. Josh, let's take 10 reps at left tackle. So we were able to do that. And then, obviously, some of the other – Stefanski got some reps because of practice. You just can't practice the same 5 every snap, and we're just down numbers right now, as we all know. But Magnuson coming off of a 3-week injury, I don't think he was expecting to go in the game. Woody Jean was going to be the next guy in the game, and we just had to be ready for it. But hats off to our staff, just making sure we were always ready in case something happened. With the quarterback, we repped Jamari some at quarterback. I just didn't know how healthy he was. Didn't really want to put him back there too much. Ashworth, we repped him some at quarterback. And then Wiley, we figured that would be, once Jamari's injury, we figured we had to come up with something to, outgap them a little bit.
Jason.
Might be a silly question, but it's been a while. So what is that locker room, especially with the seniors?
Oh, the locker room. I can't even. It's hard to describe because, first of all, there's so much love in that locker room. I mean, those guys they're so excited, and they were just so much. They were surrounding each other. They were dancing. They were cheering. They were so happy for each other. You felt so much love between them. And it was obviously, this has been hard. It's a monkey on the back. You can't avoid it, even if you want to. As much as we talk about one game, each game is a championship opportunity. For them just to be done with that, they sung Bear Down about as loud as possible. We sung our cheer about it's great to be a Zona Wildcat about as loud as possible. We were dancing, and they deserve every bit of it. They deserve every bit of it, and I'll tell you, that's not going to change the way we practice, though, tomorrow. It's not going to change the way we prepare on Monday, and these guys know that, hey, that's behind us now. Let's go out and see how many more we can get.
And then on the football side, what happened with those 2 personal fouls on the sideline?
Yeah, what they told me was it was 3rd and 11 on the -1, and the side judge says that he backed into Don, and therefore he gave Don instead of a sideline warning, they just gave him a 15-yard penalty, which he didn't handle great. So they gave him another 15-yard penalty, which is just, that's really, in a 3-3 game, that was tough.
In your football coaching career, was that probably the most difficult win?
That was quite the win. I was on the other side of that when we lost the Super Bowl. We were down 10-3, lost 13-3 at the last second. And it's one of those weird games that you're just like, we drove right down the field opening drive. We're on the 7-yard line, 3rd and goal on the 7. Ball gets tipped up in the air, caught, interception. Then we drive back. Then we lose Will in an injury. Then go Jamari, ball tipped up again, interception. So those are just weird plays. But then it just became like, hey, guys, every possession matters. And with what we were dealing with, their defense was pretty healthy. Our offense wasn't. Their offense wasn't really healthy. Our defense was. So it was kind of one of those games that it's kind of lived in that world of 3s and 10s. And great job by Wiley on that 3rd and 5. Not making it a field goal game. But we just said, hey, we're going to hand you the ball, go right up that A-gap, man, and don't stop. And he didn't. And it was pretty cool.
When you realized their personnel situation, did you change your game plan, your approach?
Yeah, we tried. I think we ended up rushing for over 200 yards in the game. Not really what we thought going into the game was going to be the way we were going to attack them. Kind of how you saw early when everybody was healthy, we were kind of, taking some shots down the field. We thought we could really be more vertical. But then when really, I didn't think we could stand back there very long. So at that point in time, everything went to boots. We hit that huge bootleg at the end of the game to Dorian Singer for a 20-yard gain. But other than that, we felt we had to move the pocket, get the ball out fast. We tried to give chip help on both sides for our tackles. But even then, you still get into 3rd and longs and you're stuck. And, that 3rd interception, that was just about a punt for us. I just told him, I said, hey, we're going to launch this thing about 60 yards in the field. It's going to be Berry Hill, a PI, or a punt. And ended up being a punt, but Stanley was right there for it. And we just needed to try to take a shot down the field so they didn't just keep coming closer to the line of scrimmage.
When you found out about Cal's situation, how did you handle that? What did you say to your team about it?
Yeah, I said to the team, I found out about it Thursday going out to the practice field, just that there was COVID and that there were multiple players, but I didn't know who they were until this morning. They did a kudos to their team for keeping that quiet. I told our team that's a good lesson. You don't have to share. You gather information, you don't share it. So, but in this case, we couldn't gather any of it. But so I said to our team this: how many of you guys feel like we lost games because of the opponent, and how many times do you think we lost games because of ourselves? And if the answer is we've lost games because of ourselves, then it doesn't matter who they bring. So if we do a great job of just playing good football, sound football, not turn the ball over, not have a bunch of penalties, and that we were going to find a way to win this game. Now, unfortunately, somehow we lost a turnover battle 3-0 and won. They're going to rub that in my face, as I've told them that's impossible. But I'll deal with that after a win, not after a loss.
Can you talk about Kyle Usendorf's impact on this game?
Yeah, he had that first punt where we tried to pin him back. It was a 4th and 3 on the 43-yard line, and I knew that our defense was playing outstanding, so I said just punt it, pin him back, and we kick it right into the end zone. I said, Kyle, man, the idea here is to pin him back when we pin him back. And then after that, he just punted the ball so well. So well that they were getting their starting field position. It felt like to me the -15 and back almost the whole game. And then that one time he just boomed. I don't even know what it was, a 65-yarder or whatever it might have been. And what a great job by our gunners. Stanley Berryhill did an incredible job making that tackle a couple times down there. What great job of, touching the ball on the 1-yard line. And, how it got out of there is how it got out of there. But I think that we pinned him back almost as much as we could have ever dreamt of. And it was a great job by Kyle and the whole punt team.
Time for a couple more, David. Jedd, you were going faster on offense. Was that by design on the day, them having less numbers? What was kind of the philosophy behind,
Yeah, well, there was two. Number one, we felt that the weather and the temperature was in our favor. We embrace, we're Arizonans. Tucsonians, whatever we are, we're that. So we feel like we practice in it. We embrace the heat. We want it to be hot. I told them this is the greatest thing ever. We could wear them down. We could go tempo. We could make them tired. And then the other advantage of it is when, the pass rush is never the same. When they're tired, when you're going quick, and they don't know if it's run or pass and how fast you're going. Unfortunately, there were some times that we really felt that we got slowed down because we had a cramp one time. We had another injury one time. They had an injury one time. So we didn't go nearly as fast as I would have liked us to go. But, we got there.
Last question, Brian.
Other than the unsportsmanlike on Keon bars, having him back after being out a couple weeks, how much did that matter with 2.5 sacks?
Yeah, 2.5 sacks would be without a doubt. But I just think when those guys all play together, that defensive front, they're very, very good. The problem has been we haven't gotten all of them together most of the season. And we've just had a missing link, one or two here or there. But, with Keon back, with Trey playing the way Trey's playing right now, and then with Jalen Harris, hats off to Jalen Harris as always. Diallo always impacts games. Those guys were, Paris Shan came back. Wasn't sure if he was going to make it back. He was a game time decision. So, all those guys made a huge impact, but 2.5 sacks is just enormous.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
Congrats, Coach.
Thanks. Thanks.